Welcome everybody back to A&M in the AM, episode 23. I'm back here with my buddy Mort. We're back in studio today. It feels good to see him. It hasn't been a while. And actually something surprising, or not surprising, but, surprising. He made it to 21, but it's his birthday on Friday, so happy early birthday there.
See, I didn't know where you were going with that. And then when you said surprising, you really lost me. And I'm happy it's not a surprise.
But yeah, we'll be celebrating his birthday Friday. Just wanted to say that. Started
so
off.
If an upload gets missed, then an upload gets missed.
How's the upload getting missed? We record Thursday night, so we'll be fine, and we won't record till Sunday night again.
I mean, how do you know? You know, everybody.
Okay.
How do you know it won't be moved to Thursday, just in case?
Because I have to be up Friday morning. I have things to do. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about a couple different things. College football. We're going to have our whiteboard Wednesday today at the end of the video. But starting off, I got to voice my opinion on something. See, we have hot takes here. We have we voice our opinions on certain topics, but I have something I have to express very much. This is more hate than I have for the Lions losing. This is I have a lot of passion towards Detroit sports, and this passion not overpowers, but as of right now, it's overpowering.
I don't understand why, but
so. Currently, high school sports are a shit show, and you can't deny that. The athletes just aren't there, not only for, like, just one sport. You can just see it across just, like, all of high school sports right now. Just, there's not athletic talent much anymore, unless you're going down to, like, Alabama, or you're going to the country where you got your corn-fed boys.
They have academies and stuff for this reason, for the competition and whatever, people that actually want to do things.
Yeah, and
the IMG, the Spire, the Anywhere.
And you really don't see, unless you're you're gifted by birth. You don't see athletes like you even used to, and it's not even like this isn't even like a 10-year thing. It's within the last couple of years you've seen it. Just a straight drop off, and I've really noticed it. And I'll say it and it's not really from our hometown, because from our hometown we're not getting the athletes out. Like we're getting very small numbers for our teams, and it's not even that don't have athletic ability. Because on our football team right now, we have like 10 good guys right now, but they're just so small that they can't compete. They have 22 people on my former high school football team. There's 11 guys on defense, 11 guys on offense. And you have 22 people on your team. That's barely enough to run practice, a scrimmaging into each other. Like, I don't understand.
I'm not sure they've been practicing the past 3 years.
Yeah, that leads to my other point. My high school, former high school, has lost 26 consecutive games. And what put me over the top?
It's really fun to see, actually.
And what put me over the top? Last game we lost, week 4, in my senior year, week 4, and we won on a failed Hail Mary attempt from the other team. We batted it down in the end zone, and we all stormed the field because we were 3-1 at that point. All we needed was 2 more wins, and we were eligible for the playoffs. And we were on top. Like, we had just come off our first playoff appearance in 5 years. We weren't a bad team, and then we just fell off. And from that point on, our high school lost 26 straight games. And what put me over the top was this past week. They have to forfeit a game because the team was too injured. And I'm not dogging the team here whatsoever. I'm not dogging the team for their injuries. I'm just saying it's sad that they had to forfeit a game for the first time in recorded history from 1950. I did fact checking.
Did you see the other rumor that
No.
It wasn't just injuries, that they just couldn't get the grades?
I did not see that.
Which obviously wouldn't surprise anybody here, but
I did not see that grade part. But I looked back because Michigan football has this this website that you can go to, and it dates back to 1950. So for the first time in recorded school history, I believe 1950 probably wasn't our first year of high school football, but for the first time in recorded school history, they had to forfeit. And that's saddening. Like, that's so sad that they can't put a team together, have a big enough team that they had to forfeit a game just because of injuries or, like you said, grades possibly.
It happens.
I mean, but no, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't. For us being such, not even a big town, but for us having how many people probably in our school? Probably like 800 now, I would say. I don't know.
To be honest, it's probably around 500.
No, not can't be 5. Hold on, let me do a little fact checking here. But for having around almost probably 800 people in the school, and for only 22 people being in the entire football program, they don't even have a JV or a freshman team. They just have a varsity team. 22 people, like, that's just not, like, hold on, 746 people enrolled at Adrian. Roughly. That's what it says on the website. And we dropped down to we've been Class B for a while. But we're at Class B. Probably lower divisions even.
See, I feel like you're hurt by this so much because they used to be like the gold standard, like one of the top ones.
No,
like, I don't really care.
Not even that we used to be a gold standard. It's just like the last 2 years I played, we made the playoffs, and we were on somewhat of a decent, like, not even hot streak really, but like we came off that playoff season. We're 3-1, and then we just got derailed. And the fact is, they've only had, in the past 3 years, they've only had 2 winnable games that were decided by less than 6 points. And it was Tecumseh and Ypsi Lincoln.
See, I think you're so passionate about this because you were like a school lover.
I did not like school.
And so I don't care because, like, my time didn't end well there, so it's like I don't care.
But I'm not. I was the first one to say
sports wise, that is.
I was the first one to want to say I want to get out of there. I mean, but it's the fact of that I guess I'm passionate about football in the fact there, and not only it's the fact that they've lost, and I'm not putting it on the players because they've had good players over the past 3 years. They have. Not that they haven't put together the best teams, but they've had decent enough players to where you at least think they could win one game. And I'm throwing part of it on the coaching. The coaching's not good. You can't run a power offense when you have a 180-pound lineman my size. You can't run a power offense like that, and I don't understand why they try to. And that's why they have injuries. They have a 180-pound lineman, and they got a running back, 180 pounds, and he's trying to run through a line that has 200-plus D linemen coming at him and being unblocked. Like, you're not going to be able to. And then, I don't even know. It's upsetting. And I don't know like what they can do to fix it. I talked to one of the players, and he said they think they can beat Jackson this coming week. So we'll have to see there.
I mean, I'm sure if you asked them for the past 3 years, they thought there was one game that they thought they would have won.
I talked to him. I actually saw him today. He pulled up on me in the Taco Bell drive-thru. And he was like, yeah, I think we have a chance versus Jackson. He was like, they don't have a good run defense. And I was like, well, you don't have a good run offense, so it's going to work perfectly.
Or really a good anything, it seems like. I haven't seen them.
They had like eight turnovers in their first. Don't quote me on this, but I think they had around 8 turnovers in their first game.
And wouldn't it surprise me, like when you have the track record of your quarterback being your punter and everything else.
No, not anymore. Their place kicker is also I want to say he's a linebacker, and he's Hunter's little brother. So if you know Hunter, you know his brother, and you know that him being a place kicker is not funny. or is not. It's funny just because if you know who he is, and it's the fact of that he's their place kicker. Like, I don't understand it. But
It's tough times.
well, also the thing that's kind of sad is obviously from my senior year we ended up going what would it have been 3-6 that year, and there's only 2 players from that team that even ended up continuing playing football. And actually, Sam, he was just named captain for AC. And another thing about AC is they were the first team in Michigan to play football since last year, which is kind of crazy being a D3 school and being the first team.
But I guess it was like an actual game. It was like a scrimmage or whatever.
Yeah, there's not counted towards there because they only play like 2 games this year. They play Trine and then they play Manchester. I don't know what I just seen that schedule. There's only 7 D3 games this year in the entire country.
Since we're shouting out my, the running joke of my woman crush Wednesday when we played baseball together. Since we're shouting them out, Sammy going from walking on to captain is really a feel-good story.
I mean, yeah, he had 10 tackles. I think that this year he's what would he be? I think he's counted as a sophomore because last year he was technically he's like a redshirt sophomore, you could say, because I'd be a junior right now. So and then he came on to last year's team as like a redshirt freshman in a way. So. But yeah, him and then Perry Johnson's also on that team there. I don't know if Perry starts or not. I think Perry. I don't know what side of the ball he plays because it's either corner or receiver. So I don't know. But Sam plays linebacker, starting linebacker now. Last year he was a subbing guy for them, but he still played a decent amount. I remember he got a couple tackles on homecoming. So but yeah, he had 10 tackles in the first scrimmage, you could say, this year. So I mean, he played good there, and I mean, it was kind of weird seeing Adrian College as the first college in Michigan to play football again. Being again, like I said, such a small town, and I don't know. And it got national coverage, so.
Wow, that's
Detroit
a
Free Press.
Oh, so not really. It's okay. Whatever.
But I mean, piggybacking on college football, Big Ten's coming back in what would it be, 2 weeks now? Because
10 days.
10 days
from the recording of this. So when this comes out, it'll be 9 days.
9 days. So not this weekend, but next weekend. So next week's episode we can talk about it a little bit more. But I mean, Michigan plays Minnesota first week. Apparently we've been told Minnesota's this powerhouse for some reason, that they have the best receiver in the nation. And I'll be honest with you. I looked into him. He's a good receiver, but I've never heard of his name before this year.
I wouldn't have heard about him unless it was for our Minnesota correspondent.
Neckbeard?
Who had heard about him. No, Neckbeard's biggest fan. But they're fast to forget that they have a man like Daxton Hill that can cover him. Yeah. And a few others, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much.
I mean, Michigan's going to be an interesting team this year with Milton at quarterback. Obviously, it's first year starting. So they said he looks amazing. They said he's looked like our best quarterback.
As he has every year that he's been there.
They said, what is he, as junior?
It's weird because he technically still has 3 more years since this year is not counting towards a scholarship.
It's not?
Yeah.
Okay, so he still has 3 more years then. Let me look this up. Joe Milton.
I just remember I'm not gonna let you get away with this one.
What?
I remember when before anything was announced, when I was campaigning for Milton to be the quarterback, and you're like, no, McCaffrey, and then you'd send me screenshots saying Milton was a 3-star or whatever, and like now we're just okay.
I mean, I have to be okay. Who else is gonna be our quarterback? Dan?
No, Cade McNamara.
You see, wait, isn't
I think Dan's probably the third string.
Yeah, he's third string. He's eligible, or he's on the active roster. So
yeah, he lucked into it. He'll actually be suited up.
Can't wait
instead of wearing shorts on the side.
Can't wait to see him versus Rutgers.
He'll be suited up before he transfers after his first year. So at least he'll say he wore the pads.
But so Michigan, obviously they play I'm trying to find Michigan football schedule here. I'm trying to find their schedule. They play Minnesota week 1, and I don't know if these are accurate rankings, but Minnesota's ranked 25 and Michigan's ranked 20. I don't know if those are accurate.
I think it is. I think it's
Because
they fixed
so
it again.
how are they gonna do this? Like, so say when Big Ten comes back, are they gonna come out with a new AP poll?
They already did, right? When they found out they were coming back, they put Ohio State back up
Okay.
top.
Yeah, and so then obviously we have Michigan State on I can't think of the Halloween. So that's going to be a big game right there. I mean, you're going to
It's
have
gonna be extra scary for Michigan State.
you have
It's gonna get
Michigan.
bad.
You actually have some big games that day. You have Michigan State, Michigan, and then Penn State, Ohio State. So you have some pretty big rivalries on Halloween, really early in what you can say the season. It's a shortened season, but you have two big games right there. And then Michigan plays Indiana, and I think Indiana's not anything to mess around with. They're a pretty
They
decent
never
team.
are.
Yeah, they're a pretty decent team. Then you have Wisconsin. So you have four straight, or you can say four straight because obviously
Yeah, it's obviously the hardest schedule in the Big Ten. like
obviously because
usual.
the state game always, no matter if state's bad, state's good, it's a rivalry game. So,
I think this year it's
yeah, this year it's
it's a lot easier than it normally has been. But
Yeah.
then they play Penn State like right after that or something. Or
No,
right
and then-
before Ohio State, I think.
and then we get a bye week. We get Rutgers, and and then we play So yeah, we get that bye week, and then we play Penn State, and then we play Maryland, and then we play Ohio State.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the hardest one in the Big Ten by far.
Oh, by far, because I mean, it's gonna be weird. That Ohio State game's gonna probably determine, like always,
As usual.
who wins.
Yeah.
Who wins the Big Ten?
Unless whoever they have there now at Penn State can reach into his Trace McSorley bag and somehow beat Ohio State.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know anybody on Penn State's roster.
I have no idea either. I know that they have that guy that almost went to Michigan, or he was from here, that receiver. Oh no, I think he went to the draft actually. He was a really fast guy, but besides that, I don't know.
But still, I mean, Michigan has one of the tougher schedules in the Big Ten as usual. I mean, Big Ten's one of the tougher conferences in all of football. So it's gonna be a very interesting fact when that comes into the fact matter, because we can't mess up. Michigan can't mess up. You have to go perfect. And I mean, you can't lose. If you lose a game, you're basically out of the running for the Final Four. Or yeah, for the Final Four, the bowl game. I don't know what they call it, the playoffs. That's what they call it. I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, that would be it.
That stupid thing. But you were talking about eligibility, and we didn't talk about this before, but actually we have talked about it, but we didn't say we were going to talk about it. So you said Joe Milton has 3 years of eligibility after this.
I know where you're going with this.
I
love it. I know where you're going with this, and I love it.
So let's shift to basketball. They haven't came out and officially said it, but
They're voting on it soon.
they're discussing. Yeah, they're voting on it soon. That if winter sports are going to be allowed to get another year of eligibility,
Which I would assume they are, because I think they said spring was going to get it, so all the baseball and softball and all those people were getting it, and then when they did it to the fall, so I'm assuming they're just going to carry it over to the winter.
So that would give our main man,
who we still want to bring on sometime if he would
Yeah.
ever use Instagram.
that would give our main man the reason, the whole basis. I want to say the whole basis of what this channel started on, but he was the groundwork.
He was the biggest part of the logo.
Yeah, he was the biggest part of the A2 Sports logo. But Anthony Davis, or not Anthony Davis, Austin Davis.
Plays like Anthony Davis.
Austin Davis. I haven't said his name in so long, but Austin Davis, that would give him a 5th year of Sixth year.
Sixth.
No,
He's
well,
on his 5th right now.
Well, he didn't play his first year, so he'd be at Michigan for 6 years, which that'd be insane.
And you bring this up because I had seen it, and I told you, I was like, I just saw somebody say we could possibly get a 6th year Austin Davis, and then I told my dad.
Austin Davis went from becoming the biggest meme and hated on
to being
Michigan.
a very valuable player. He wasn't hated on.
No, he was. He was like, I remember people saying, I don't understand how Austin Davis should ever touch a basketball court again.
I don't know a single person besides someone that was jealous of him that hated on him.
No, I remember back, it was his, okay, so it would have been not last year, the year before, so his quote-unquote sophomore year. People, because he couldn't, they were like, I don't understand how Austin Davis is getting minutes. I don't understand how he should ever be able to touch a basketball floor or a court again. I remember seeing tweets like that every time Michigan would play. because they said he would miss free throws and he would.
Yeah, but we have to remember what other kind of centers they had at that time in like Mark Donnell
Yeah.
and other guys like who also had no business being there. So,
But yeah, I just remember seeing that. I'm no hate versus Austin. We love him here. He was the.
again,
Yeah.
I've never hated him, so
I've never hated him either.
I never said any of those.
I'm
things.
just saying. I remember seeing tweets from like his sophomore year when he would get the chance to play, and people would just be like, "Why are you even giving him minutes?" Stuff like that. But I mean, obviously that fueled him to go off his junior and now would be this would be his senior year. So, I mean, good for him.
Great dude.
He won't be starter this year, probably. You think?
No, it's
Hunter.
It's Dickinson, but I mean Austin's gonna be big off the bench.
I mean, unless they run a little combo right there.
Unless they do the Teskey and Austin thing like last year, where they put Teskey or Austin at power forward, then like they did. But,
I mean
obviously
Teskey low key,
there,
he could work at power. He was working at power because he can make the three every once in a while.
Yeah, he would work there, but at the same time, it would clog the lane because then they'd have other shooters out there. So Teskey had like nothing else to do besides go inside.
Talking about Teskey, where do you think he goes do you think he gets drafted?
Nah.
No. You think he ends up in G League at least?
I think if he does, it's very late second, but I would assume there's other guys that go over him. But I would think that he would definitely get picked up by somebody.
Yeah,
probably right away.
Yeah, he's a valuable guy. I mean,
he's 7'1" who can rebound and
play defense
and play inside.
Yeah.
So
do you think anybody from Michigan gets drafted? I mean,
Xavier's already going overseas. He said.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he already signed.
Huh.
Because we were talking about that.
I do not remember this.
We were talking about that the other night. How he was going to another country. Because that's when we were looking at Jimmer Fredette and all those other guys.
Are you sure? Oh yeah, but I don't remember you bringing up Xavier.
Yeah, I think you were the one that said it. But I don't remember. I think those are the only two in the draft.
Yeah, they have to be. So Teskey's the only guy we get out of this draft for Michigan. I mean, maybe Austin has an amazing year this year and just says, "I'm going," and he
comes the next Aaron Baines.
He can't make a three though.
He used to.
Yeah,
when he played point guard, he could bang out.
Yeah, when he played point guard in high school versus 6'3" men, 6'3" or like 6'1" boys, and he was 7 foot, and he could just like walk around you. He could just step over you and be like, "I'm going to the basket."
Happens.
I remember going to the game when Brendan, Peyton, and Sam they never played against him, I don't think.
Brendan and Payne came in the garbage time.
Yeah, so they never got a chance to actually play against him.
It was like, I think it was like a minute or something before he came out.
Because he got taken out beginning of fourth quarter, I think. I don't even think he played that fourth quarter.
I think he played a little bit because I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of somebody like by him. I don't
by
know.
him while he was going to the basket.
I just remember two things. I remember Dominique blocking him, and then
I do remember that.
I remember when he came out and he took his mouthpiece out and had the big old Jordans, the size 47 Jordans on, and we walked past the bench and said, "Go Blue, we're gonna support you at Michigan." He said, "All right, thanks."
I remember I was at that gas station across from the high school one time, and this would have been his true freshman year, or his redshirt freshman year, I forget. And he pulled up in I know I'm gonna probably not remember this correctly. He pulled in like a Bentley or something. He pulled up in he was just dripping with whatever car he had, and he had his girlfriend with him. And I was walking out when he pulled up, and I looked over at him. I'm like, "Huh, what a big guy in a nice car to be in this type of area." And then it took me a second to process because it was at 10:30 at night. We were doing our hooligan type stuff, and we were fueling up for the night, and and I just remember I saw him, and I was like, "Huh." I was like, that was probably Austin Davis. And
I remember going to games every chance I could to see him, especially when he was here in districts and stuff. And then I had seen him when before he had graduated, he was at a Michigan game, like with all the other recruits and stuff. And he was sitting across from me because I was down baseline behind the basket, and I could see like down in the corner where the other where they put the recruits every time, and he was across from there.
Yeah.
And I got up like towards the end to go around there to try to get a picture with him.
Yeah.
By the time I got over there and got down the stairs, he was going into the tunnel with the team, and I was so upset.
You're like,
I was like, luckily he lives in Onstead, but
Yeah.
like, it's
who
still
was
hard.
who was that other? Because okay, so it was him, and then there was another like 6'10" center that was on that team, on said team.
You know who it is.
I don't.
We'll talk about it after.
Oh, never mind. I know.
Yeah,
I
we'll
know,
talk
I
about
know,
it after.
I know. Yep. Okay. So how about them Cowboys?
Speaking of 6'10" centers in the NBA, we have our trades here today. We're in the whiteboard back. That it's based around a point guard, but conveniently involves a few 6'10" guys.
Hold on. Let me say it. Welcome, John Wall, to the whiteboard.
Welcome, John Wall, to your tape.
So obviously this trade evolves around John Wall. He just posted.
Been looking like an animal.
Yeah, I was
on
gonna say, he just posted a picture or a video the other day on Instagram, and he looks like he's healthy and in shape. Obviously,
we've had Hoodie Mello and all kinds of different versions of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We're having Instagram John Wall.
Instagram John Wall. I like it. So now, obviously, this team that he's gonna be traded to, we obviously went over every team, and you gotta look at the cap space. You gotta look at you gotta look at the players that they could trade back, at the players that they can acquire, at the fit, just at the coaching wise and everything. And I guess this makes the most sense.
Yeah, because it's a team that we've been saying a lot needs a point guard. They already have one,
and
they need a legit point guard, some more star power, and a guy that really knows how to like feed the big man.
And I mean, this team, after what they did in the bubble, it kind of gives away right there. I mean, they showed that they're going all in. That they had a team right there in the bubble that all you need is a couple more pieces. Even if they don't do this, if they run it back with the same exact roster, they're good next year.
I mean, and like I said, feeding the big guy with you're now making that guy the second or third option or third star.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we forget that when John Wall was with the Wizards and he was healthy, how good he made Gortat look.
Yeah, he made him look like Gortat was an all-star, I think, a couple of those years.
He made Gortat look amazing. Well, not amazing, but like real good.
And a couple, the thing about this trade is, now that I'm realizing what I said about the bubble, is two of these players involved in the trade weren't even on the bubble roster, I don't think, because they were either hurt or they just
somewhere else,
or they just they got placed above them. And I think this,
because they were running like a 9-man rotation, like real tight.
Yeah, they were running real tight. They were basically getting Booker the ball and stuff like that. So
obviously he's going to the Suns now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously I said, yeah, Suns. So do you want to start with who Washington is getting or who Phoenix is getting first?
We'll go to the Suns since we already said John Wall's going there. So John Wall is gonna go there. He's going to be their starting point guard to line up next to Booker.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that the defense is still a little sus, especially John Wall coming back from injury.
But John Wall, when he was healthy, he was a good defender. I think he made all defensive team one time.
Probably. But, I mean, also, like, if you look at this, it adds, like, gives Booker some more space on the perimeter because John Wall would be going towards the basket and, like, kicking out or whatever. So like it gives Booker more room to operate and play off the ball.
It gives them more another athletic finisher.
Athletic finisher, yes sir.
So
but then also going with John Wall, we make it look like we play favorites every week, but really it's just these guys that work out and fit fill roles, hit spots. So Mo Wagner's going to the Suns as their backup power forward.
And a thing I'm going to mention before you continue is John Wall did make all defensive second team in 2015. So 5 years ago, but still, I mean, if he can
still in there.
Yeah, if he can come back to where he once was, or at least a shell of his former self, he could be a quality defender for them and that backcourt. All right, so go ahead again with what you're having for Phoenix.
And then after Mo, we're gonna You'll know why in a second, but we're going to give the Suns Admiral Schofield.
I personally said I said they needed to create the Tobias Boban connection and send Mo and Isaac Bonga together again. They went from Lakers to Wizards. Why not send them back to the West Coast, give them to Phoenix? But I mean, I had Schofield in my first trade to Phoenix, so I was like, Schofield's a young guy. He's a guy that can develop another wing player in case Oubre leaves next season. They can kind of develop him behind Bridges. So he's not a bad piece, and he showed promise not only at the end of the season, but in the bubble he showed promise.
Which is why I said he would maybe go to the G League, depending on like how tight they want to run it again, or if they sign anybody else. Like he's just there for versatility.
Yeah.
But then we go over to the Wizards, and since they're losing a point guard and the Suns are gaining it, we're just switching point guards here. We're sending Rubio back out of town.
Which I don't mind because it kind of ties into what else we're doing with this team here is we're sending them veterans to help the youth.
Which, I mean, and also, like, it's since they're going to the East, it's, like, decent enough guys that can help the Wizards get the 7th to 8th seed again.
Yeah.
Because then you got more defense next to Beal, who can already play defense.
Yeah.
And the guy that's just dotting him up wherever. And then another shooter around him, and Dario Saric. We're going to sign and trade him.
Yeah, I think we said about 7 that we give him a realistic thing here because, I mean, yes, he's a good player. Starter quality, yes, on a team like the Wizards or Suns. So about 7 to 8 mil, we give him a 7 mil contract. So it worked out there.
And he's also not a bad defender in his own right who can shoot the ball. Another big guy in Frank Kaminsky who could come off their bench.
He's a straight shooter for them, but just a big shooter for them.
Which we were thinking because I had mentioned we had to get Mo out of town to let him play because they have Thomas Bryant. They have Mahimi coming off the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they have somebody else there that's also a center. So, like, I mean, we also did send him to Phoenix with a bunch of big guys. But if we're trading Rubio and Kaminsky and moving Mo to power forward off the bench.
And what we said is necessarily because after the trade, Phoenix was left with about roughly 8.7 mil. And do they have the cap room to bring back Aaron Baines? Personally, I don't think they do. Personally, I think Aaron Baines goes somewhere for like around 10 mil a year because he showed that he can be a starting center on a good team. I mean, we've mentioned, does he go back to, again, this sounds favoring, does he go back to the Pistons? Does he go to like a team that needs a center?
You know, now that we say this, I just thought about it on the spot. I feel like the Warriors.
Warriors could be perfect for him.
He's a tough guy like Zaza was, where he'll push you around,
and he can shoot.
He can grab boards and shoot.
Yeah, I mean, Warriors would be perfect but Warriors don't have cap space. That's their problem. They would have to do a sign and trade.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, yeah. So Washington gets Kaminsky, and then
since they're giving up Schofield, they're gonna add another young guy. They already have the 9th pick themselves, so they're just gonna get the 10th pick. They're gonna go back to back. I'd assume they would take Killian Hayes and somebody else if they're available.
I thought Killian Hayes and then like a wing player, or you get a guy to soon replace Beal if Beal wants out of town. At this point, if they're blowing it up, so say Beal wants out of town, you trade Beal and then you trade a guy, or you draft a guy that can automatically take his spot. So maybe you draft a Killian Hayes and then maybe you draft a Cole Anthony. Because Killian Hayes plays that. Or
both of them are around. I don't know. But, I mean, Killian Hayes is kind of bigger, so I guess, yeah. I was going to say you're just being two short guys.
No, Killian Hayes is he's built like Bradley Beal. Maybe not as good as Bradley Beal in shooting-wise yet, but defensive-wise, I think he's past Bradley Beal right now.
And plus, like, the rumors are that the Wizards are trying to get Killian Hayes as it is.
Yeah.
So
maybe they
he's coming in behind Rubio. So
maybe next week we take this ride on this and go, okay, Bradley Beal leaves town. They draft a point guard and a shooting guard to develop. Well, shooting guard would obviously start, and then the point guard would develop under Ricky Rubio, which I think is the perfect person to develop under. I mean, obviously Wall over there in Phoenix is going to help Eli Okabo or
Ty Jerome.
He's going to help.
I think Javon Carter's a little bit better than Jerome.
I think Javon Carter's a little bit too old. He's 24 now. I don't think – I mean, you can still get some serves. But I mean, obviously 24 is young, somewhat young in NBA standard. But I just think he's too old to make an impact in the starting lineup.
Well, yeah, for starting for sure, but
Mhm.
like as a backup guy, like
Yeah.
that knows what he's doing off the bench and
Mhm.
everything. Like I feel like he's serviceable,
Oh, definitely
especially
serviceable.
after John Wall.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they're at 9 and 10. They definitely take a point guard and shooting guard if they were to trade Beal, which I think Beal, if John Wall gets traded, he more than likely is getting traded too because they're blowing it up.
So then, like we said, the Wizards could look like Rubio, Beal. Who's that small? Rui, if they want, or if they put him at back a power forward.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, Rui and then Saric and Thomas Bryant.
Yeah, and then you obviously have.
And then in Phoenix, you got John Wall, Booker, Kelly.
And then we said
either Cam Johnson or Michael Bridges because Michael was playing there a little bit in the bubble and like he was looking real good, especially without Oubre there.
Or you did mention, or like you did mention while we were talking, and then they do have around 8.7 mil in cap space. You said, do they sign Paul Millsap to a small deal to either start or come off the bench?
I said Millsap wouldn't be a bad move for them, just as a veteran guy in the locker room, with a lot of postseason experience.
And I mean, sadly saying this, they're losing veterans in Rubio, Sarge, and Kaminsky. I mean, you can say they're not veteran. You can say Sarge and Kaminsky are still young, but realistically, Sarge is 26 and Kaminsky is 27. In NBA standard, they're about mid veterans. Like they're hitting that veteran mark. But Rubio definitely a veteran. You're losing him, but obviously you're gaining John Wall. He's a veteran. He's a little bit more explosive.
I mean, John Wall's still like 29. I mean, the thing is he's coming off the ACL.
Like 2 ACLs, like 5 ACLs in the past like 3 years, like.
But then like we had Ayton still up center, of course. But then like the bench just looks real good because if you're not starting Michael or Cam Johnson, whoever you don't pick, goes to that 6th man.
Mm-hmm.
You have Mo off the bench. Schofield, if they decide to have him play.
Ty Jerome.
One of the point guards that we talked about.
Yeah, Ty Jerome or Eli Okafor.
If they're able to get Baines back, like we said, like Baines and Mo next to each other is like intriguing because Baines is there doing the same thing as Mo, but more defense and rebounding.
Yeah, basically Mo is a younger Baines, just not with the defensive ability yet. I think he still has a little bit to work on there.
And plus, it's like just Baines is a big body compared to him.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, Baines kind of had, I don't want to say the same career line as Mo's having so far, but he did jump around a team. He was on San Antonio, he was on Detroit, he was on Celtics, he was on a couple other teams before he actually found his footing. He found his footing with Celtics, but he really found his footing with Phoenix, and that really set off his career to now him possibly getting a multi-year, I don't want to say close to max, but a multi-year like $10 million a year. If that might even be low.
Because then if we say they do get like a Millsap, he can run small ball center like he was doing to the Nuggets too. Or he could, when Jokic was out, or I mean like in foul trouble, like he was playing a small ball center for them.
Or even he could run the big ball small forward.
Yeah.
He's played small forward before, and like that would like you could run a lineup there of Wall, Booker, Millsap, Mo, and Ayton, or Baines and Ayton, or Baines and Mo. There's just so many combinations.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that's why I was going with Millsap, because if you want him there, I mean, if you have him at the power forward off the bench, then you do put Mo back at center.
Yeah.
And then they just switch positions because Millsap kind of goes a little more inside or playmaking.
Yeah.
And then Mo was stretching it out next to the other guys off the bench.
It would be an interesting situation. I think it would work out for both teams. It would help Washington get a lot of money off the books, because they would be left with around $29 million in cap space after they got John Wall's 3-year deal, $44 million off the books. So
I do want to point out though that 2 trades that we have made centering around the Suns. Mm-hmm. We have given them shooting big guys from Michigan.
This is true.
We've given them DJ Wilson and Mo. That is not. I mean, we're trying to save them. It's not like we're like trying to work them in any way we can. It's just like they're on the roster and they kind of fill the role.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And they're just not playing like. I know the Wizards are like kind of high on Mo, especially like what he did against Kitty Cat. I love referencing that. But
I'm gonna show this to the camera real fast while you're just talking, but that's the trade we got for the whiteboard. But yeah, I mean, there's other trades we thought about for this week. We saw some weird ones. James Harden going to Philadelphia, PG going to the Nets, Damian Lillard going to Phoenix. We saw a lot of different trades. This one kind of stuck out to us, and I think we'll come back with two next week again. We'll come back with two next week.
Yeah, then one of them may involve the Wizards. We'll leave it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, we'll leave that on the cliffhanger. Maybe Beal gone.
Maybe John Wall Part 2.
Yeah, maybe John Wall Part 2. Maybe Beal is gone. Maybe it's a trade centered around
Thomas
just Mo.
Bryant.
Yeah, Thomas Bryant, just Mo. Who knows?
Bonga.
Mo and Bonga. Mo and Bonga for Boban and Tobias. 3-team trade. But I think that's all we got for you guys today. So thank you guys for watching, and drop a subscribe, help us out there, and drop a like to show us that you guys like the videos. And we'll see you next time.
Shout out Muzz.
Yo, shout out Andrew and MORT, bro.